you guys have your beverages, whether it is hot, cold, warm. I do not discriminate. I wanted to talk about my 2024 journey. By the time this episode drops, it will already be the new year. But when I tell you that this year has been such a roller coaster, it is not an exaggeration. I wouldn't put this year as one of my best. I definitely had some great moments, but the first half was definitely challenging. And the second half got better, but the events of the first half kind of definitely brought some overshadow to the second half. But I made the best of it as I could. But one thing I will say is dealing with, the tragedy, it really opened my eyes in good ways and in bad ways as it pertains to my relationships. And I've had conversations on here before when I talk about what certain friendships and relationships look like and just kind of breaking that all down. But when I say a wake up call, it was really that. I have now decided that I need to be more intentional with the relationships that I make. I am a person that finds it hard sometimes to develop new friendships because starting from scratch can be scary, and just not really knowing a person and just what their intentions could be and the type of person that they are and kind of what their emotional intelligence is. And I think for me, my apologies. I think for me, that's the biggest thing, is being around people who have a level of emotional intelligence, because I'm not going to have it together all the time. And so it is good to be around people who can kind of help you in those times and not make you feel bad for having off times. And then, of course, in turn, being available for those who need me to then be the support, which is a role that I've played basically my entire life. So going through my situation, it kind of showed me what it looks like when the strong friend is down and just kind of how people deal with it. I did have a couple people deal with me with kid gloves because it's not common, but it's just the effect that this had on me and the relationships that I've developed or that I've had or that I have currently. It really let me know that I have to be more intentional across the board. It doesn't matter if you're somebody that I'm with romantically. It doesn't matter if you're somebody who I'm friends with, and it doesn't matter if you are somebody that I'm related to. It has to be across the board. And there is no worse feeling than being excited to talk to somebody or being excited to be around somebody, and that same person has to prepare to be in your presence. That same person isn't looking forward to be in your presence. And that realization is so heartbreaking, to know that you look at somebody with so much love and they just kind of tolerate you. And so I have gotten to a point where that's no more. I am paying attention to the relationships that I have. I'm paying attention to people that say, let's catch up. Now, let me put a pin in that and let me say this. Life happens. I totally understand that. I am a single woman with no children. I have a lot of people in my life who have children. So can they pick up and do what I want them to do? Absolutely not. Can they talk to me all the time? Absolutely not. But this is where communication comes into play. It's nothing to say hey, I can't do this right now. Or just kind of have an overall consensus of what the communication is going to look like. And that's really it. I have plenty of people who I don't talk to all the time. There's an understanding there. And when we do catch up, they kind of say, listen, man, it's so good to see you. And then they kind of let me into their life so that when life happens, I'm not like, really? Like, you're not trying to talk. You know what I mean? Like, there's no room for wonder. There's no room to, conjure up my own stories of how they may feel about me, because the communication is so solid that in most cases, all I got to do is hear it one time and it's like, okay, cool. Get to me when you can, and you keep it moving. I think the issue becomes when there is a consistent pattern of a lack of communication with myself, and then there is consistent communication with others that I can actively see. Then it makes me believe that I'm obviously not a person in your life that you feel holds any, I don't want to use the word priority, but I don't hold any merit in your life, if you will. I'm hoping that's the right word. Right now it sounds right, so we're going to go with it. And for me, that isn't acceptable. And for me, that doesn't work, because we're all going through things and we all have our own journeys. But when we have relationships that we value, we nurture those relationships. It may not always be with conversation. It may not always be in a physical form, but those relationships get nurtured. Even if it's something as simple as have a good day, even if it's simple as you may see an accomplishment and you reach out, congrats, I'm so proud of you. Even something as simple as I miss you, hope you're doing well. Small things like that, I see you. And sometimes that's all you need, because again, life happens. And so with that being said, I've decided that next year, which will be this year when this plays, that I need to take a lot of that energy and pour that back into myself. I need to be kind with myself, and part of that is understanding what works for me in my life in a positive way. I don't want to be around somebody off of the strength of tenure. I don't want to be around somebody off of the strength of blood or relativity. If you are not bringing me in a place where I feel like I'm thriving, I don't want you around me. Respectfully, but disrespectfully to some. I'm at a point now where I'm getting older and things are getting more challenging with the economy, with, all the stuff that's going on, with the politics. Even though I'm not a big politician girly, but I'm definitely keeping my ears to the streets more than I'm an adult, because a lot of the things that's happening is affecting me more directly now than it was before. When I was younger, that doesn't really affect me. I'm a kid, whatever. Now I'm a grown woman. I'm paying bills. I'm paying taxes. I need to understand where my tax money is going, etc., etc., etc. So things are difficult. So you find solitude in your circle. You find safety in your connections, and you find love in your pod, your people. And if you can't find those things within the people that you're surrounding yourself with, where are we supposed to find it? We're surely not going to find it out in the streets. We're surely not going to find it at work. We're surely not going to find it on social media. So where are we going to find it if not within the people that we're constantly surrounding ourselves with, constantly communicating with? And so it's really important to be intentional with those friendships, and it's really important to be selfish in those friendships. Even if I feel like I might not be providing my best self in that friendship, I need to analyze what that friendship is, because everybody wants different things in relationships. So maybe I'm not for a particular person. Now, that's not for me to make that particular judgment because everybody has different roles. But if I feel like when I'm speaking with you and we're hanging out that nothing conducive is happening, it's not progressive, it's very stagnant, then I'm going to look at the relationship like, what exactly are we both getting from this? Yes, of course we want to laugh and we want to hang out, but like, how are we growing our relationship? How are we growing as individuals within this relationship? Where's the rest of the material to continue to build on this relationship? There's no materials there, and we're literally just sitting in a half-ass relationship. Nothing's being done. I don't mind like talking about, social media stuff, tea, all of that stuff. But if I come back and I turn around and I want to have a different kind of conversation, I need these to be versatile relationships. I need to have, I like a little R&R, a little righteousness and a little ratchetness. Can I talk to you about the silly stuff without you judging me? And then can we then turn around and have a serious conversation, a progressive conversation? That's where I'm at. Because too much of the silly stuff gets annoying, and too much of the seriousness could get tense. So you want to have like a nice balance. What can you bring to my life? What value can you bring to my life? And then in turn, what value can I bring to your life? Those are the types of relationships that I want around me. I want to learn from you. We're consistently learning. We're never going to stop learning. Teach me something and let me teach you something. It may be something small. You may not have to talk to me about it, but let me see what's happening. Let me see the progression. Invite me when things is going well. Don't just come to me when things are bad and you want to vent because you know I'll be available. And then when things go well, you don't know my number. Because I've had a few of those relationships and I'm not here for that. I just want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be well. I want us all to be in nursing homes. I want us all to be at that senile old age where we're just talking shit. We don't care because we're old. And I want us all to be healthy. I want us to be progressive. I want us to be successful, whatever success looks like for everybody. And I want us to continue to grow together and individually. Heavy on the individually. That's where I'm at. Because you see, in 2025, I'm diving into myself different. I'm going to go figure out what my roots are. I'm going to go figure out what my hair type is and how to understand my hair. I'm pouring into every little bucket that I have for me first. Whatever I have left, I'm sharing. And one thing that I hope I can do is continue to build and potentially even start some really great connections for 2025. So that's my resolution. I don't really like the word resolution. Projection is the word I like to use. That's the projection that I have for 2025 when it comes to self. Of course, I have other goals and things that I want to maintain, but this is something that has really been heavy on my chest and I've been really, really racking about for a while. So this is something that I wanted to bring to the diaries. And I do want to open up the floor for anybody who is kind of going through the similar transition in terms of being more intentional with the relationships that you build and, maybe letting go of some relationships that aren't necessarily in alignment with you anymore. And let's just talk about what that looks like, because it's not easy. And of course you have to go through a mourning phase. It's not like you can just cut people off and just go on with your life, especially if it's a meaningful relationship. So just kind of leave some comments about how you kind of deal with that and kind of how you navigate new relationships that you've developed, even if you feel like it's something that's difficult for you, or it maybe it's not difficult for you. If it's not difficult for you and it may have been before, just kind of talk to us about how you've been able to navigate it to where it's not difficult for you anymore. And definitely let's have a conversation about it, because again, I'm all about progression. Speaking of progression, I'm going to end it here. Happy New Year, and until next time, cheers to a new episode.